Welcome to the latest opposition preview here on Back of the Net. After our 2-1 win against Crawley in the 4th round, the Cherries earned a glamour tie in the 5th round against Burnley away. With us to discuss this match is a TV presenter who knows a thing or two about the club. He's worked for Sky, Channel 5 and has had numerous radio stints too. He's the UK's king of shopping TV and a major Burnley fan. Welcome to Back of the Net, Andy Hodgson. Afternoon, Andy. How are you?
I am splendid because, of course, as you know, supporting a top team globally is very exciting. And you used to support one of those, I believe. Oh, hang on, you still do. Wait a minute. I don't want to upset you before we started. What's happening here? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh dear, oh no. That's not a good start, is it, Andy? So, okay, Andy, you was a presenter on Bid TV for a number of years, selling all sorts of household items in such a short space of time.
4 of the hand towels you'll get for your money, 4 of the bath towels you'll get for your money, 2 of the bath sheets you'll get for your money, and I've set them out like that. 10 in total, now £2.10 a towel. You'll all pay the same price. Everyone pays the same price. What a mover. Look at this, let's move to the bedroom. Would you like to? Oh, I'd like to. Ooh.
I've got a phone here. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Tell me what it's like to be a supporter of Burnley from now.
Oh, it's very easy. You see, if you're looking to be happy in life, if you're looking to have all the knocks, but remember those high points as just pure joy in your life, then you want what I've got. If you want certain moments in your life you can picture and immediately see absolute joy above all others, then for a very small price, because we don't charge a lot at Burnley, you can have that joy. The joy to the Premier League. Sean Dyche, the longest serving manager in the world ever. You can have pure pleasure. That's what being a Burnley fan's all about.
That was absolutely amazing. Just over 30 seconds, Andy, but, you know, we'll give you that, mate. We'll give you that. Don't worry.
And to you, it's only $99.99. Just send me your credit card details.
There you go, mate. There you go. You're not the only famous Burnley fan, though, either, are you?
I am. Jordan North pretends he's a famous Burnley fan, and I don't know anything about him or his catchphrase. I know nothing about him. And Alistair Campbell, he used to have something to do with the government or something. I don't know. I've heard of him, but he tries to muscle in on my patch quite a lot. And then there's royalty and all sorts of people. Yeah, I mean, there's some quite high-profile ones. I'm gathering you probably called all of them before you called me as well, yeah?
Yeah, just about. But, you know, we couldn't get them on, unfortunately, Andy. Sorry, mate. But your relationship with Burnley isn't just as a fan, is it? You've done a bit of work for them as well. Well,
yeah, do you know, it's actually, over the last 20 years, it's been quite a privileged position because when I was on Bid TV, and by the way, when I left there and nicked the sign, I don't know if you can see, the studio sign is in my vocal booth just behind me. So it lives on in my home studio. Burnley called me up and I was a fan. And because I was on TV 20 years ago, they said, would you come and help us out with some stuff? And back then, all the clubs were struggling because ITV Digital just pulled the money out. So there was loads of clubs like ours were struggling with no cash. And so I got involved at the start because me, Alistair Campbell and various others would organise and present dinners for them and auctions for them. And we'd do anything just to help the club along. And it was an honour to go and do it. You know, it was lovely to get involved. And I did that for many years for them. Players' awards dinners, I'd go and present and so forth. And even now, I do co-commentary, which is an absolute honour. Getting to go watch the team, sit in the press box next to all the lads, go on the pitch before the game starts. You know, I've done that down at your place at the Vitality and sampled the fantastic curry in the press box. So I get the privilege of getting special access to the team, which is just phenomenal. And I do consider it a privilege as well. Although, you know, in my career I've done a lot of sort of football commentary, Sky Sports and Channel 5 reporting on the Championship, and I've done a lot of that stuff, and TV and radio, but doing it for your own club is just a different world. It's just an absolute privilege. It really is.
Yeah, I bet. So on Bid TV, Andy, your presenting style has been compared to Alan Partridge, of all people.
Dan!
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 Dan! No. You won't be working here long, Dan. It's $17.99. North of 30 quid, fella.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Haven't you?
I did have a low point once where I drove to Dundee in my bare feet, but I bounced back since. Although I do get a second series, and in fact, just before we started this, I dropped Lynn off on the dual carriageway. I'm not going to take her all the way home because she's fine. She's got minor women's whiplash. Shut up, you've broken your neck. You've broken your neck. Yes, I don't know why people compare me. I used to say it was because Steve Coogan is my cousin. And most people, because our accents are the same and we were born in the same place, go,
yeah,
really? And I go, no. But I just find him hilarious. And to this day, as you can gather, I can quote the entire script from every single series he's ever done. And I used to do it on Bid TV. The truth of it is, I used to do it on Bid TV with whatever assistant was on that also watched Alan Partridge and could deliver me the lines that Lynn would deliver. And then I just used to do the lines, but without acknowledging it was Alan Partridge. And the part of the audience that got it obviously thought, that's very funny, he's just being Partridge. And the others that didn't get it just thought I was an idiot. Anyway, so I've carried that. That's been the best part of 20 years of my career, that, just nicking Steve Coogan's gig.
Yeah, oh, fantastic. Well, he was somebody who loved the catchphrase. It seems when it comes to Burnley, there's a lot of catchphrases that opposition fans use, like anti-football, time-wasting, direct, everything wrong with football. There was that bit on the in-betweeners as well, wasn't there? He loved football, but he didn't love Burnley. How do you...
Hated Burnley.
He hated Burnley. But how do you feel about these remarks, and do they actually bother you?
It's brilliant. We all love it. In fact, so much so that we now chant on the terraces when we get back to them. We used to anyway. Anti-football, dead, 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 dead. Anti-football, dead, dead, dead. And we find it funny. You know, we've got Ashley Barnes up front. And basically, Ashley's great at going, here comes the ball, here comes the defender, watch this. Oh, he's just knocked me over again. What are you doing, mate? I mean, that's brilliant. That's just called possession, my friends. That is possession. That is the way to play football. I mean, it's just, it's a proper wind-up, isn't it? And when you go to Chelsea, oh my God. Although, I'll tell you what, the last time I did co-commentary at the Vitality, I remember I was right on the end in the press box next to the Bournemouth fans. And we won, I think it was late on, we won only 1-0. And as your lot are leaving, some of the language when we were live on air, my friend, I don't mind telling you, they were not best pleased with our anti-football. They were very upset. But we use it as a badge of honour now and find it hilarious. And, you know, sometimes you watch Burnley, I know you'd only do this when you're a fan. You watch Burnley and you go, actually, that was half decent. So, you know, the game against Brighton today, or depending on whether you're watching this today or in the next couple of days, in which case Saturday, you know, the second half, we were really good and we were knocking it about first touch. There was some back flicks from Ashley Westwood. Vidra nearly scored a couple of times. Great control, balls over the top of his head, dropping it down on his foot and knocking it to the side. I mean, we were genuinely very good. But most of the time, we play anti-football and just wind up the opposition. In fact, so much so, at a Chelsea match once, I'll never forget, at a Chelsea match, Ashley Barnes wound up David Luiz that much that at one point he got furious, comes right up to Barnes' nose, literally, in a kind of, come on, let's have some. And Barnes just went around to him, smiled, and then just kissed him on the nose and walked off. It was brilliant. The best wind-up ever. And that's when you know it works. You can get under the skin like that. We love the anti-football, we do.
Yeah, I remember many games, Andy, with Burnley, and I was maybe one of those fans swearing, I shall say that, after the game. Of course, Eddie Howe was at Burnley, somebody who tried to deploy a different sort of style at Turf Moor, but it didn't really work. Of course, he's a legend at this football club. How is he regarded by Clarets fans?
Do you know, it's almost like an invisible period because Sean Dyche has done so much and he's now beyond the legend at Burnley and he's the longest serving manager in the Premier League now. Everything that's gone before is kind of like, oh, whatever. We used to moan every couple of years when we had a bit of trouble and we didn't have success, like every club does. And so, before that we had Brian Laws, and that was all of it. And Steve Cottrell, and he did all right for us, but he didn't have the money, he didn't get the success, and it was all of it. Chris Waddle we had as well, and he was just unbelievable. Anyway, you look back at Chris Waddle and you go, what was that all about? But Eddie Howe, him and Jason Tindall were good guys, and I was actually in the boardroom on the day that they signed their contracts, and so it was rumoured that they were coming. And on that day, I was in the club. I was in the boardroom with the chairman, and Eddie and Jason are there. To be honest with you, they looked a bit bewildered. The two of them kind of had this look. They're looking out the window at the peeing rain. They're looking at the grey clouds and the multiple terraced houses going up the hill on the side. And you could see them. We're all having a pie, before the game. And you could see them kind of thinking, what the hell am I doing? This is not Dorset, my friend. What the hell is this about? What are we going to tell the wives? And I think Eddie had just had a baby at the time as well. So, that must be a real culture shock to go from the tropical climes of Dorset to the hillsides of Burnley when, you've got to do a breastfeed at 4 a.m. So the football, though, I thought they were good. Honest, decent fellas that just wanted to get it right, really polite and lovely. And so I've had a soft spot for both of them ever since and wish them nothing but well. And certainly when Bournemouth started to move up through the ranks because of those two, absolutely delightful. And every time I've been to the Vitality for the same reason, it's just a really nice, warm feeling because they're good guys, aren't they?
Absolutely lovely guys. I've met Eddie, I've met Jason. But has Dyche's incredible tenure eroded any animosity that might have been there from Burnley fans towards Eddie?
Yeah, I genuinely it has because I now am just like, nice fella. Met him once, nice fellow. What he did for us, I thought was fine. And going to Bournemouth, it makes sense what he did because that's where he's from. That's where he's had success. That's where he loved being. And look at the difference it makes to a man. That's the point, isn't it? That actually, if you're the chairman and you hire sensibly like that, and you go, hang on, let's hire someone who loves this place, loves this club, and his family would love it if this happened. And you get all that together, you get happy players and happy managers. If they're away from home, I don't know how Sean Dyche does it, by the way. Sean Dyche has lived away from home in both near Burnley and back home in Kettering for 8 years. How do you do that? I just wouldn't fancy it at all. And a couple of times I've asked him and said, how do you do it? And he's going, I just get used to it. I'm fine with it. I really am. So he said, when I go home, I knock about with my mates. I don't talk about football, and it's all absolutely fine. But I couldn't do it, and maybe for the same reason Eddie couldn't do it. So it'll certainly be interesting for Eddie where he ends up next, as to whether he's at a stage in his life when he can do it. Because I guess he's got to move away from Dorset for his next move, hasn't he?
Well, you never know. He might decide to stay down here by the beach. The board might give him the job.
Do you think he'll actually come back? Frank Lampard, John Terry, I don't know. Maybe Tony Pulis, he's always in the mix. But does Eddie Howe come back and manage Bournemouth again?
We are talking about Eddie Howe, the messiah of this football club. I'll tell you what. Give us 30 seconds of why Eddie Howe should come back to the club.
Eddie Howe loves the club. It's my summary of that situation is if the person loves the area, loves living in the area, the family loves living in the area. So when you go home, everything's happy. You've got what you need. That means you can go back to the club and inspire the players because you're always smiling. You're not challenged in life. That's why Eddie Howe should be back at Bournemouth. And I was amazed that he went. Disappointed for Jason that doing so well, frankly, that he got the elbow. It's one of those that you go, should we kick it on here and make sure we get back in the Premier League? But actually, what you could do is unstable the whole thing, because you've got new guys coming in. The players are going, oh my God, I'm out in a second. What's going on here? I'm going to lose my job. That's why Eddie Howe is a stable ship for the business that is Bournemouth Football Club. And I think sticking with him would have been the answer for me.
Yep, most definitely. And same here, mate. So, I have to bring this up, Andy, unfortunately.
Oh, no. What?
That game at Turf Moor last season. It's definitely not our happy place, because during that game, of course, Burnley went 1-0 up through Matej Vidra.
Yeah.
Shortly after we went up the other end, and we scored via Harry Wilson. I believe it was a pass from his namesake, Callum. But a minute or so before, Adam Smith was adjudged to have handball. So we thought we got back to 1-1. And in fact, we ended up conceding the penalty and went 2-0 down. What was your view and Burnley fans' view of that and VAR in general?
Well, yeah, I don't have a major problem with VAR because Sean Dyche doesn't. And he always says this, and I think this is right for this game and all others. You win some, you lose some. It's not a major problem. Sometimes VAR, you do look and go, is that right? But in the next game, you get one that goes for you. So, I can take VAR, I can stick with it, because if you don't have VAR, what you do is spend your entire time moaning about not having VAR. And all football fans forgot that every single game had a moan a week long after it, because everyone said, why in this world can we not get the technology right and have something which just looks back? And then it takes the human part out of it, and then it's factual because this business is worth so much money. Yada, yada, yada. So you bring it in then, and nothing is infallible. You bring it in, it does a fairly decent job. It gets most of the right, let's be honest, and it removes most of the moaners out of it. So for me, you're going to get some where you lose. You're going to get some where you win. I'm all right with it. What you really needed to say is Matej Vidra got an early one. Jay Rodriguez got a penalty. Dwight McNeil, who's a wizard and should play for England, then finishes it off 3-0 to the Burnley. And then you should sing that song, anti-football.
Oh dear! No, that game brings back terrible memories, Andy. Honestly, mate. What did you think of that decision, though, to pull it all the way back after we actually scored? Did you think, yeah, he handballed it, or?
Yeah, and it is a tricky. Well, that decision now is a bit like the offside nonsense that's going on now, where everything, as a football fan, you just go, "What's happening? Why? What's going on?" So the current similar example is someone's offside, blatantly offside, and until the player's finished, he doesn't put his flag up. So a keeper makes a save, somebody does something, and you go, "What's that? What?" And it was offside all the time. Well, why don't you just stop it then? So it is a bit ridiculous, I guess. I mean, the bottom dollar is it is a bit daft. But these things update themselves and change, and it'll catch up. And they change rules as normally. But then you were going to lose that game anyway. So I don't know what you're harping on about VAR things for. You were going to get battered anyway.
We wasn't. We go back to 1-1, Andy. We're just going to go on and win that.
you were never going to go on and win that, because at that point, all of your team were a bit upset. Fraser was looking for a new club. Wilson was looking for a new club. All the lads were about to leave. Josh King was like, where can I go in a bit? They were all wanting to get off the ship at that point, mate. They didn't want to play anyway.
Well, let's talk about this season. How do you think it is going so far, Andy?
We're having a mixed season, like we always do. The first part is always really hard, and it gets to Christmas, and the Burnley fans that are somewhere in the middle on Sean Dyche start calling for his head and going, "What are we doing? Why haven't we signed, Messi?" Which we're never going to do. What we don't do is sign showbiz players that unstabilize the whole club. It's the culture that Sean Dyche has got, and it makes sense. So we never do that. Every season we call for it when we're in trouble coming up to Christmas. And every season coming out of Christmas, we seem to get players back from injury, and the culture comes back together. The best players are out on the pitch, and we string wins together. And so suddenly, again, we've beaten Liverpool, and we haven't won for like 46 years at Anfield. It's just bonkers. And we start to string wins together and get the odd point here or there. Now, at the moment, we're just above relegation. And frankly, as long as we finish there, I couldn't give a monkey's. Because I'm not one of the Burnley fans that's now going, well, we should be pushing on for Europe again. We should be trying to get in the Europa League and have some trips to Turkey or wherever. I'm fine with just staying in the Premier League, as I suspect you would be as well.
Yeah, we would be now. We would be.
Yeah. Maybe an FA Cup run is what you need. Oh, hang on a minute. No, you don't. Stop right there. No, you don't.
No. We need to get promotion somehow.
That's true. A cup run for you is a bit of a pain in the backside, isn't it? Because you want to save the legs and you want to get promotion. Surely you don't want a cup run. Don't turn up on Tuesday.
Well, hopefully, we can call the playoffs a bit of a cup run. We'll beat a team over 2 legs, whoever that might be. Don't care who it is. Beat them over 2 legs, and then we'll win at Wembley. Job done.
Yeah. So you never know. Yeah, Frank Lampard's in charge. Harry Redknapp's in the car park. Everyone's a winner. I mean, that's entirely possible, I guess.
Exactly, Andy. But the FA Cup for Burnley, you haven't really got past round 5 for a number of years now. So we've turned up in round 5. Does that mean we're going to win?
Well, it'll certainly be interesting. But I tell you what, Sean likes to give the other players minutes. So the chances of rotating the team as we did in the last round is entirely possible, depending on injuries. Now, I don't know whether Chris Wood is going to be back. Barnsley's okay. Matty Vidra's playing, and Rodriguez is okay. He might go Vidra and Rodriguez up front and try and boss it, but he will give a bit of a rotate to the team. So the other players that get minutes, the good news is when we get back to the Premier League, they're fit and raring and ready to go. But it also means they haven't played as many minutes, and it weakens us a bit. So there is an opportunity to steal here for certain. But certainly in the last couple of rounds, nobody's managed to do it. If I had to sacrifice this cup to stay in the Premier League, I'd sacrifice it. And it's nice to have a cup run. Many moons ago, we had a bit of a run in the cups and did quite well with capital punishment, beating everyone in London that came anywhere near us. And we, it's like, good God, this is what football's about. Oh my God, we were all quite shocked by the whole thing. But that was years ago. Could we do it again? I think, to be honest, when we saw the fixture list running up to the Bournemouth game, you do kind of go, hang on a minute, we've got a chance here, because do Bournemouth really want to play in the Cup? No, they want to get promoted. Some of their best players from the Premier League have had it away. Hang on, there's an opportunity here. You do start to think, if we play a strong side, could we be in the quarterfinals of the FA? In fact, what am I saying? Could we win the FA Cup? Maybe, sort of.
No, it's not going to happen, Andy.
No,
Sorry,
it's not
mate.
going to happen. No, you're right. You come up against Man City and they always batter us 5-0. So you're absolutely right. But can we just bow out on Tuesday? I tell you what, you don't turn up because you don't really want to play it. We'll not turn up either. Everyone will be confused, but everyone's happy. There you go.
You never know. Plus, we might still not have a manager at that stage, so.
But you see, that could make a difference as well, couldn't it? If you get a new manager in the days we record this, and then suddenly there's a new manager in place, all the players have a little look over the shoulder and go, "Oh my God!" Because they get home and the wife says, "What's happening?" And they go, "Oh, this new fella's in. You better try hard tomorrow." So actually, that might be the kick which the club are looking for. You never know.
Well, when the draw was made and we come out of the hat, what was your first thoughts about playing us? Was it, oh yeah, we can beat them, or was it, oh, not that bloody lot from down south again?
Yeah, you see, I live just on the outskirts of London. I love a trip to Dorset. Don't get me wrong. Every time I see Bournemouth coming up, I go, great stuff. I get off, I get a bag of chips on the way. It's good times. All my friends in Sandbanks invite me down there. I spend ages in all of their houses. I don't come back for a month. The wife wonders what the hell's happened. So every time I see Bournemouth, I'm quite happy. Do most Burnley fans, if I was to summarise the opinion of most Burnley fans, it is, we're sorted here, we're going through the quarterfinals. Definitely that run, it was for the first time in ages, we're not playing a team that we go, oh, forget this thing. We've got a genuine chance of having a cup run. That's what most Burnley fans think. And I must admit, underneath, I thought the same myself. I did think this is, it's better than a 50-50 chance that we go through if we're on form on Tuesday.
But the problem is, Andy, it's up in Burnley. It's not down here, so you won't be able to pop round to your mates in Sandbanks,
That's true. But you see, that'll be the trouble for the Cherries on Tuesday night. It's up in Burnley, and what does that mean? It means pouring rain, snow, polar bears running about on the pitch at half time. The changing rooms have got penguins in them pecking your backside. It's not a pleasant place to go if you're a Cherry. I'm telling you now. So that's what people don't like, and we haven't changed the away dressing room since 1867. So it's a bit old in there. The showers don't work. There's one tap. You have to fill a bucket. It's not pleasant for the away team.
You saying that David Brooks isn't going to be very happy with it then?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, that is precisely what I'm saying. Do you actually think you can win, though? I mean, you've asked me all these questions, but do you think the Cherries can beat Burnley on Tuesday night? The mighty Clarets. Hang on, I've got my scarf. Come on now. Do you really think you can win? Come on.
Why not, Andy? At the end of the day, that dreaded game up in Turf Moor, if that goal had stood, which it should have, let's be fair, we would have gone and won that. So, yeah, why not? What do you reckon?
What I can't predict, because you're in a middle period of managers, is what's going to happen. See, I know Dyche is going to rotate a little bit. He might pop in Kevin Long and drop one of the defenders for him. But Phil Bardsley might play. So I kind of know the rotation is likely to do. He may well start with Vidra and Rodriguez up front, which has caused problems for teams in the last couple of rounds. So I know what we're going to do. What I don't know with Bournemouth is what's going to happen. And without a steady ship and the same person, neither do you. So you don't actually know what team's going to turn up. Is it somebody that needs extra minutes and he's going to rotate whoever it is? Is it Woodgate or whoever it is by that point? Or does he play a first team? Or does he rest because he wants really tricky? And after a hard game against Birmingham as well, so I really can't predict what team's going to turn up to go against us. But whatever it is at the moment, I would still say we've got the edge.
Is there anybody else in that Burnley team, apart from who you've mentioned, that we should watch out for?
Yes, the starting 11. All of them are... you see, we might change the keeper. So often, England's number one, Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope, normally he gets rotated out for Northern Ireland's number one, Bailey Peacock-Farrell. He's a great keeper. Nick Pope keeps him out of the team. So it's possible we'll change that around, but he's a good keeper. At the back, if Tarkowski or me play, or even if they don't, Kevin Long will come in. As I say, Phil Bardsley, the man's a warrior. You don't want to mess with Phil. You know what I mean? You don't want to meet him after 15 pints on a dark night. I mean, the players we're replacing with are good. And then in the midfield, we've got all sorts of quality, like Dwight McNeil, should I need to remind you, who's like scoring against you anyway. So if Dwight McNeil plays, maybe he comes off the bench. We've got Dale Stevens, who we signed from Brighton. He hardly gets a game, so he's likely to get a game in this one. He's got fresh legs. So you go, that's going to be all right. Not massively creative, unlike Ashley Westwood. If he plays, he's first. All the stats for Burnley, he's first ranking. So, number of passes, number of cups of tea before a game, doesn't matter. He's got first ranking and everything. So if he plays, you've got problems. Jack Cork's coming back from injury. And if he plays, you've got problems because he's, the list just goes on. And Goodmanson, who scored against Brighton, he's now back to his best form, the Icelandic legend. He can score, he can knock it down the wing past you and pop it in. And then, up front, if it is Vidra and J-Rod with Barnsley on the bench, we don't massively change the team because all of those are always kind of in the mix. So that's the thing about Burnley. It's not, you want to worry about Messi. It's that you want to worry about the collective, that if they're all on form together, it's the team that will win it, not one individual player.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Andy. I'll tell you what, it's been a real good laugh.
It's a pleasure.
All the very best for the rest of the season. Hopefully VAR doesn't play a piece. Hopefully he'll go against Burnley this time. You know, that would make it a bit more fair, wouldn't it?
Don't look back in anger. Now look forward to your prosperous success of getting in the playoffs and almost getting back to the Premier League. That's what you need to do.
Almost.
I'll join you on the beach.
Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
I want you to do it. I want to come back and sit next to that fella who moaned last time when we won 2-0 in December 2019 and gave us a mouthful of swear words for on air. Thank you to that fella, whoever he was. I want to come back and see him and give him a big cuddle. I'll wrap him in my scarf.
Wasn't me, was it?
It might have been. Now you come to mention it, I knew there was a reason you got me on. It was this. He wants to return all his towels. Plus, he's moaning about that game. Can't believe it.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, Andy. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. Good to see you and semi-luck. Has he gone? Has he gone now? Right. Thank God he's gone. Honestly, he's got a proper chip on his shoulder, hasn't he? VAR this, VAR that. I don't know. He needs to just look forward with blinkers and try and get back to the days when Fraser was rocketing up the wing and then not doing a lot. Anyway, it's all right. He's gone to Newcastle now. He's making headway there. Oh, no, he's not either. Hang on. No, I'm getting it all wrong. What you need to do is get it right. Don't forget the watch-along that's coming up as well. I always, even though I'm a Burnley fan, I watch the watch-along. It's fantastic. Watch it with the lads. Up the Clarets. If not, up the Cherries, I guess. See ya.